больше определенной паузы.
He doesn't circle around the cage to buy time. He goes straight on the offensive, cuts off every angle, and finishes his opponents before they can even get into the fight. This is Sulim Batalov, a Chechen special forces soldier trained in combat before ever stepping into a cage. And when he fights, it doesn't look like a sport. It looks like a military operation with a single objective: to overwhelm, subdue, and finish the opponent. Sulim Batalov was born in Chechnya, and if you know anything about that part of the world, you already understand that the men it produces are not ordinary people. Chechnya has been forging soldiers out of its sons for decades. Discipline, toughness, and the will to overcome pain are not optional. They are simply what it takes to survive. And Sulim Batalov did more than just survive. Before stepping into the cage, before signing with Absolute Championship Akhmat, Batalov trained as a member of the Chechen Special Forces, learning to fight in an environment where the stakes had nothing to do with scorecards. When a man like that moves to MMA, to the professional level, he brings with him a completely different mindset. One that comes from knowing he's already faced something tougher than this. And from the first time he competed professionally, the MMA world began to realize that they were witnessing something they hadn't seen before. On October 11, 2021, Sulim Batalov made his professional debut in Tolstoy Yurt, Chechnya, on his own turf, in front of a crowd that had come to see what their man was made of. And he answered the question before even a single minute had passed.
Двигаться легко должен. Ой-ой-ой. Пасек, кстати говоря, причем еще больше. Начало прям ударное. Стоит, действительно стоит.
The referee stopped the fight so that the ringside doctor could examine Boronchiki. The doctor determined that Boronchiki could not continue safely, and the fight officially ended 50 seconds after it began. Most fighters use their first professional fight to get comfortable, to breathe, to find out what professional competition feels like. Batalov used his to send a message. The cage was just another mission, and missions end quickly when Sulim Batalov is involved. 2 months later, on Christmas Day, at the Grozny Sport Hall Coliseum, in the heart of Chechnya, Batalov was back. His opponent, Asamad Tokov, he was a higher-level rival, tougher, with more experience, and not the kind of fighter you defeat in seconds without a plan.
Так, ага, при этом уже чувствуется, потихонечку спортсмены находят. О, и вот, кстати...
Ну и посмотрите, как сейчас здорово зависит.
Ощущение, что Сулим Баталов, он в данном случае для зам...
As soon as the fight started, Batalov took control, applying constant forward pressure and dominating the center of the cage. He used precise timing and powerful combinations to force Tokov into a defensive stance that he could never really escape from, gradually dealing damage throughout the first round.
Ну да, будет несколько побольше. Сам уже... Ага, и вот сближается туда, куда...
Подсказывает, что нужно переводить.
Сулим Баталов, да. Пришли к нам на комментаторскую позицию спортсмены.
By cutting off the cage and refusing to let Tokov recover, Batalov turned the fight into a one-sided battle, where his opponent had no room to breathe or counterattack.
Уже удар наносится не плечом, плечом.
Соперник начинает плохо дышать.
О, есть попадание, хорошее, жесткое. Конец уже, конечно, времени не хватит. А вот перевод, ущерб нанесенный. И если Баталов.
Да, но все-таки мы понимаем, что ущерб можно одним единственным ударом за весь раунд выполнить.
By the time the second round arrived, Tokov's body had already absorbed all the punishment of a fight, and when Batalov found the clear opportunity he had been looking for, he took advantage of it without hesitation.
Дают определенные паузы. Ой-ой-ой, жесткое попадание.
Это жесточайший нокаут.
Just a minute after the start of the second round, Batalov had knocked down his opponent in the most devastating way possible. 2 fights, 2 knockouts, and the light heavyweight division of the Absolute Championship Akhmat was beginning to understand what Chechnya had sent them. By August 2022, a pattern had already been established. Sulim Batalov not only fought, but he destroyed his opponents. And Vadim Rolish, when he stepped into the cage at Absolute Championship Akhmat Young Eagles 28, was about to become the latest to find out exactly what that meant.
Боксер, второй шусендаист. Это полутяжелый вес. Тем, которые не просто работают, а служат своему отечеству. Поэтому наша братская страна, семикратный чемпион мира по тайскому боксу.
Batalov started the fight with relentless forward pressure, immediately looking to control the center of the cage and dictate the pace.
Мощный у него
Вес не сам привычный.
блюдо, это, конечно.
Да, это все вот оттуда.
Batalov was becoming more refined. He moved with intention, cut angles with determination, and the combinations he landed were powerful, precise, and enough to make Rolik back off from the very first exchange.
Дует. Все бойца объемы. Баталов.
There wasn't a single moment when Rolich could recover. Not a single moment where he found space to breathe or recover. Batalov was relentless. The pressure never stopped, the advance never ceased, and finally, the accumulation of all that created the opportunity that ended the fight.
Очень.
И еще чувствует, что поплыл соперник Баталов. Очень близок к нокауту. Да, все завершилось. Там.
Batalov's punch combination made the referee stop the fight at 3 minutes into the first round. Technical knockout, 3 fights, 3 knockout victories, and 3 opponents sent home with the same painful lesson. Sulim Batalov was undefeated, he was unstoppable, and no one stood up to him in the first round. It was ACA 161, and a new name was rising on the other side of the cage, Abdul Hamid Davletov. The result was exactly what was becoming Batalov's trademark, and exactly what anyone paying attention should have seen coming.
Внимательно наблюдал, как Шамиля... Ух ты! Даже нет времени вставить фразу. Зарубается! И ничего себе! Вот это размер!
Batalov immediately demonstrated his dominance, landing a series of powerful strikes that left his opponent on the canvas before the fight had barely begun.
Вперед, Хамид Давлятов. Он вообще делает все быстро и на кулаках.
Здорово ему ботал своего оппонента.
Какая скорость для Леона, а? Лоу-кик.
Davletov barely escaped the first time, but once Batalov sent him to the ground a second time, he made sure Davletov didn't get back up.
Парни не экономят абсолютно ни грамма энергии. Кик по защите.
И правый прямой, слева попадает. И сейчас будет забивать Сулим Баталов соперника хаммерфист и сверху. Темп просто высочайший. Все!
Batalov followed him to the ground with ground and pound, forcing the referee to step in when only 56 seconds of the first round had passed. 6 wins, all 6 by knockout. And the number that said it all, 6 of his 10 career victories up to that point would come in the first round. Batalov wasn't just finishing fights, he was racking up first-round knockout wins the way other fighters rack up decision victories. The Chechen Special Forces soldier had found his arena, and his opponents were running out of rounds. December 8, 2023. Ufa Arena, and this time the opponent represented a different flag. Wildemar Negueva Souza Santos came from Brazil, a country that has produced more elite mixed martial arts fighters per square kilometer than almost anywhere else in the world. And Santos brought that pedigree with him into the cage, but it didn't matter.
Значит, что могут начинать, и он засиживаться в обороне точно не будет.
Прессинговать и навязать работу первым. Внутривается. Левшо, Вильдемар на долгой ли. Еще один удар. Пойдет вперед.
Здорово обманывал.
Хорошо поддавливает.
Batalov steamrolled Negueva in the same way he had steamrolled everyone who came before him. Halfway through the first round, Batalov unleashed a flurry of strikes, forcing the referee to step in and protect Santos from further damage.
И вот так, и справа, и слева. Вкладывается на все. Вильдемара, Соузе.
It was a devastating knockout, with just 3 minutes gone in the first round before the knockout was declared. His record got even better. The style remained the same. And with each fight, the rumors within the Absolute Championship Akhmat light heavyweight division grew stronger. Is there anyone who can stop Sulim Batalov? And then came the fight that revealed something different about Sulim Batalov. Not his power, nor his pressure, nor his finishing ability, something deeper than all of that. On June 28, 2024, Oleg Olenichev stepped into the cage with a record of 17 wins and 10 losses. A genuinely experienced fighter with a professional career behind him. The kind of opponent who could test him in ways brute strength alone couldn't overcome.
Много, не то чтобы это был такой тактический грамотный бой, здесь сильно работает Олег. И попал там один раз.
Баталов, и обратите внимание, постоянно взгляд его обращен на Мурада Бичуева. Ну вот пока держится, пока все в порядке. И сам идет...
Подсаживается Сулим Баталов, а будет ли здесь перевод?
For 3 rounds, Batalov kept control of the fight against the more experienced Olenichev. But it was what happened toward the end of the fight that showed the world who Sulim Batalov really was.
Ух ты, ничего себе, какие скорости Баталов. Выходят спортсмены из этой борьбы. Постарался его провести, но не получилось.
With Olenichev injured and wearing down, it was reported that Batalov's corner told him to stop hitting Olenichev in the head. And Batalov followed the advice, choosing not to finish his opponent with more blows to the head as a display of sportsmanship and respect.
Полминуты.
Ой-ой-ой.
Жесткие удары.
И не так много остается, и просто сейчас, да, не довершает начатое Сулим Баталов.
Еще один удар.
Здесь для галочки доводит.
Да, время еще есть, но парни уже не дерутся. Вот это финиш, браво! Браво, Сулим! И браво, Олег!
In the brutal math of professional fighting, where extra money is earned with knockouts and spectacular moves, Batalov chose sportsmanship over showmanship. The ACAMMA later highlighted it as a moment of humanity in a tough sport. Because when a man trained in the special forces, built for pressure, capable of finishing fights in less than a minute, makes the decision to show mercy, that's not weakness. That's character. His strikes, his close quarters fighting, his work in the cage, all of it was enough to dominate and sweep the judges' scorecards. And Batalov took the unanimous decision and kept his undefeated record, February 28, 2025. The Arena Viner Usmanova Gymnastics Palace in Moscow, Russia. One of the most elegant venues in Russian sports, and Sulim Batalov was about to make it anything but elegant. Caio Bittencourt entered the cage as the opponent, but Batalov did so as the heavy favorite with odds of -705. Those numbers said it all even before the fight began, and what followed was 1 minute and 3 seconds of absolute devastation.
Low kick me.
From the very first second, Batalov advanced with his characteristic relentless pressure, and the precise timing he had been perfecting in all his previous fights was fully on display. Batalov realized that Bittencourt was hurt and decided to finish the fight in the most brutal way possible.
Ой-ой-ой.
Хорошее попадание справа. И здесь еще серия на коротке. Полетели колени. О! Ничего себе, как выставил там Bittencourt. Включился Сулим Баталов. И все это надо останавливать.
Да как же стоит Кайо!
Да, очень много ударов в голову. Все. Да. Здоровье превыше всего. Просто сумасшедшая серия в голову от Сулима Баталова. Да, и...
During the moments leading up to the final exchange, Bittencourt seemed to be knocked out several times before the referee could physically intervene. Technical knockout, just 1 minute into the first round. This is Sulim Batalov, a man forged in the special forces, made for war, capable of taking down professional fighters in less than a minute. Some knockouts are so devastating that they earn bonuses, and this one was worth every penny. On January 9th, 2026, Asilchan Vakitsanuli stepped into the cage as the last man tasked with solving the problem of Sulim Batalov. And just like all the opponents before him, he had no answer for it.
Это здесь Григорий Матавасян.
Ну опять, тот бой был.
Зрелище и очень опасно по-прежнему атакует. Ударом правый прямой, очень-очень опасный у него. И вот здесь, справа направо, слева налево.
From the start of the fight, Batalov used the forward pressure that had become his trademark in every single fight of his professional career. Despite his control, Vakitsanuli landed several significant counterattacks early in the fight.
Пробивает справа снизу, Сулиму Баталову, он пробивается.
Как будто против Сулима рубиться невозможно. Не рубиться, вернее. Очень плотно.
Борьба в целом тоже была.
Я, наверное, выделил именно ударных техник. Меня лично это очень восхищает. Вот сейчас опять...
Just 2 minutes after the start of the first round, Batalov delivered the highlight of his professional career, which led the referee to stop the fight.
Возможно, с такими габаритами переквалифицироваться.
Batalov landed a precise series of uppercuts, followed by a final blow that sent his opponent face first to the canvas. For his dominant performance and spectacular knockout, Batalov received a $20,000 bonus for Performance of the Night. The knockout has been cited by multiple sources as a candidate for the 2026 CMMA Knockout of the Year, and a record that now told the full story of a man who had come to the CMMA, to the professional leagues, from the mountains of Chechnya, through special forces training, to a cage where 10 opponents had tried to stop him. But none of them ever quite managed it. From the mountains of Chechnya to the brightest stages of the Akama. Sulim Batalov has spent his entire professional career proving the same thing over and over again, in the most direct language available to a fighter. He's built differently, and you'll feel it before the first round is over.